Good morning, students. Today we will learn Chapter 3 Natural Vegetation and Wildlife Resources. Natural vegetation includes all types of plant life that grows in association with each other under natural conditions without human interference. Some examples of natural vegetation are forests, grasslands, and scrubs. If we talk about the wildlife, wildlife includes all species of insects, birds, fish, and animals that live and grow in a natural habitat. Climate and relief of the land are the two key factors that influence the type of natural vegetation and the wildlife of a region. Depends on climate, especially temperature and rainfall affect natural vegetation by causing a particular type of natural vegetation to develop. This creates Earth's different biomes. The type of vegetation depends mainly on temperature and moisture. Accordingly, vegetation is grouped into three major types. These are forest, grasslands, and desertic scrubs. First, forest. Forests are present in areas that have heavy rainfall, especially areas that have abundant water supply. The amount of moisture determines the size of the trees. The size of tree is short in the areas of less moisture. Less moisture also reduces the density of trees. Further, we can classify the forest into these types. 1. Tropical rainforest. 2. Tropical deciduous forest. 3. Temperate evergreen forest. 4. Temperate deciduous forest. 5th. Mediterranean forest. And the sixth one is coniferous forest. The next type of vegetation is grasslands. Grasslands are present in the regions of moderate rainfall. The trees in grasslands are short and stunted. Majority of the area is covered with long and short grasses. Grasslands are classified into two categories. 1. Tropical grasslands. 2. Temperate grasslands. Third type of natural vegetation is desertic scrubs. Desertic scrubs are further divided into two parts. One is the hot desert vegetation, other one is the cold desert vegetation. Hot desert vegetation is present in the regions of dry areas of low rainfall. The areas are dry and have thorny shrubs and scrubs. These plants have deep roots and leaves have thorny and waxy surfaces to reduce loss of moisture by transpiration. The second type of desertic scrubs is the tundra vegetation. Tundra vegetation is present in areas which are very cold, especially in the polar regions. It comprises of mosses and lichens. The surface is almost barren without any green cover and almost entirely covered with snow. Depending on when the trees shed their leaves, forests have been classified as evergreen and deciduous forest. Evergreen forests do not shed their leaves simultaneously in any season during the year, hence, they always have some leaves on trees. They always have some green cover of leaves throughout the year. They are never devoid of leaves at any time of the year. They are found in areas where rainfall exceeds 140 centimeter. Evergreen forests are found mainly in the equatorial region, Central America along the Amazon and Orinoco rivers, in Africa, the basin of Congo River, in India, they are found in northeastern Himalayas and western Ghats. When we talk about the deciduous forests shed their leaves in a particular season of the year to conserve water loss due to transpiration. Second, they look almost barren without leaf cover in certain months of the year and have good foliage or green cover in certain months. They are found in areas where rainfall is from 75 to 140 centimeter. These forests could be of two types depending on their location in different latitudes. One, tropical forest present in Chile, South Africa and South Australia. Second, temperate forest present in North Central Europe, Eastern Asia and parts of Eastern United States. Students, you all have read so many poems about the functions of trees. Like in this poem, you can see there is written, trees absorb pollution, protect water catchments, trees produce life giving oxygen. Trees mitigate climate change, trees help to cool cities, trees are culturally important, trees provide habitat for wildlife, trees are a legacy for future generations. Let us talk about the importance of forests now. Let us discuss about the productive functions of the forest. Timber and wood are used for various purposes like building houses, bridges, furniture, etc. All these things are provided to us by the forest. Forests provide raw material like wood for paper industry. Fruits and nuts are obtained from forests. Plants like sandalwood and khus are used for extracting oils. These oils are used in soaps, cosmetics, etc. Drugs, herbs and spices. These are obtained from forests and are used in industries and houses. We get bamboo also from the forest, which is used for flooring, roofing, etc. In this slide, let us talk about the protective functions of the forest. First, forests check soil erosion and land degradation. Second, forests provide cover to a number of ecosystems for the growth of wildlife. Third, forests help to conserve water. Forests take in carbon dioxide and release a large amount of oxygen during photosynthesis, thus helping in maintaining a balance of oxygen and carbon dioxide. This is the regulative function of the forest. Now we know that how important forests are for us, but every year we find that one or the other forest is experiencing the forest fire. Let us discuss about the forest fires in detail now. What is the forest fire? Forest fire is similar to wildfire, bush fire, grass fire, etc. They all are the same phenomena depending on the type of vegetation being burnt. It is an uncontrolled fire in combustible vegetation that occurs in the countryside or in a wild area. A forest fire differs from other fires by its extensive size, the speed at which it can spread out from its original source, and its ability to spread across roads, rivulets, and fire breaks. Fire is caused by a combination of ignition, dry wood leaves, and oxygen. What are the causes of forest fire? Forest fires could be caused by natural causes as well as human-made causes. Let us talk about natural causes first. Students, many forest fires start from natural causes such as lightning which sets trees on fire. This fire may or may not spread as widely depending on prevailing humidity and temperature conditions in the surrounding region. High atmospheric temperatures and dryness offer favorable conditions for a fire to start. Second cause is human-made cause. Fire is caused when a source of fire like naked flame, smoldering butts of cigarettes, electric sparks, passing by electric lines or any source of ignition comes into contact with inflammable material of the forest. Forest fire affects the mankind as well as the wildlife. Let us talk about the effects of forest fire in detail. Fires are a major cause of forest degradation and have severe ecological, economic, and social impacts. For example, there is loss of valuable timber resources because of the forest fire. Forest fire can also result in the loss of biodiversity and possible extinction of plants and animals. Loss of wildlife habitat and animal life is also the result of the forest fire. Reduction in forest cover is also the effect of the forest fire. Because of the forest fire, there can be the soil erosion affecting its productivity. Because of the forest fire, there is loss of trees. Because of the lack of trees, there may be occurring the health problems which are leading to the diseases. There are so many tribal people who are totally dependent upon the forest. Because of the forest fire, there is loss of livelihood for these tribal people who are dependent upon collection of forest produce for their survival. Students, now we need to discuss about the prevention and control of fire. How can we prevent and control the forest fire? Forest fire can be prevented by educating the people about the hazards and the effects of careless lighting in the jungle. The placement of sensors, observation towers help early detection and control. It is very difficult to control such fires as they spread at a very fast pace. The temperatures are very high and do not allow close fire fighting. The requirement of water and other fighting chemicals is also very high, and it is a challenge to spread it over the vast areas in flames. Aerial sprays are required to prevent the spread of fire. The next topic in this series is the wildlife. The whole animal world is classified into two categories. One is the domestic animals and other one is the wildlife. Domestic animals are those animals which are used by human beings. And on the other side, wildlife, that is wild animals, are those which are not used by the human beings but they exist in nature, on land, in air or in water. When we talk about the distribution of wildlife, we find that wildlife can be found in all ecosystems, whether that is a desert, forest, plain, snow covered region and any other areas, including the most developed areas, all have distinct forms of wildlife. In India, we find elephants in Assam, Karnataka and Kerala. One-horned rhinoceroses are found in the swampy and marshy lands of Assam and West Bengal. Run of Kutch is habitat of wild ass and camels are found in the Thar desert. Indian bison, nilgai, that is called blue bull also. Chausinga, four-horned antelope, gazelle and different species of deer are some other animals found in India. Gir forest in Gujarat is the natural habitat of lion, whereas tigers are found in the forest of Madhya Pradesh, the Sundarbans of West Bengal and the Himalayan region. The Himalayas harbor a hardy range of animals which survive in extreme cold. In nature, there exists a delicate balance between plants and the wildlife. This balance must not be disrupted as it could lead to not just the extinction of a species but also harm the environment. Wildlife, birds and fish are not only important for our physical health but also stimulate our mental health and beautify nature. So we should all help to save the wildlife. Wildlife plays an essential role in the ecological and biological processes that are significant to life. There are four areas where wild plant and animal species benefit human existence. 1. Economic, second medicinal and scientific, then third one is aesthetic and recreational, and fourth one is ecological. When we are talking about the economic value of the wildlife, these wild plants and animals are a source of food and clothing. And the other economic value of wildlife is that it is a very good source of outdoor recreational activities. As we all visit zoo, bird sanctuaries, National Geographical Park, and these are the sources of recreational activities for all of us. The most important contribution of wildlife for human progress is availability of large gene pool for the scientists to carry breeding programs in agriculture, animal husbandry and fishery, etc. When we talk about the aesthetic values of animals, we are always tempted to see them. Nature has decorated animals and birds so beautifully that all of us make plans to go to the National Geographical Park, wildlife sanctuaries and bird sanctuaries to see these animals and birds living in their natural habitats. It is a very good source of income for the government. Wildlife plays an essential role in the ecological and biological processes that are significant to life. The biosphere functioning is based on an endless interaction amongst animals, plants, and microorganisms. This in turn maintains and enhances human life further. A number of human activities and natural factors are responsible for the loss of natural vegetation and wildlife, which take thousands of years to replenish. Some of these are human interference, like construction activities and expanding into forest for want of space or setting up industries; deforestation that leads to extensive loss of vegetation and wildlife; soil erosion causes loss to vegetation and animal life; forest fires bring widespread damage. Not only do the forest and wildlife get destroyed, but also the natural habitats of variety of wildlife animals get destroyed, making them even more vulnerable. Natural disasters like tsunami and landslides change the habitats and bring enormous damage which may take hundreds and thousands of years to build again. Poaching of wildlife animals for collection and illegal trades of hides, skin, nails, teeth, horns and feathers, etc. The natural vegetation and wildlife can be conserved and protected by increasing awareness about their importance and creating environments for their protection. In these protected areas, natural habitats are not disturbed. A balance of natural environment is conserved, human activities are minimal, and measures are taken to preserve ecosystem. National parks are areas strictly reserved for conservation of wildlife that includes flora and fauna. Here, any activity of forestry, grazing, or cultivation is not permitted. The wildlife sanctuary gives protection to fauna only. Killing or capturing of any species of wild animals is prohibited here. Biosphere reserves conserve forests and wildlife. In fact, these reserves assure the survival of several species that are on the verge of extinction. Such multipurpose protected areas conserve biodiversity in natural ecosystems. About 49 tiger reserves have been set up in various forests across the country. Project Rhino is being implemented in Assam. 12 biosphere reserves are being established to cover varied climate and vegetation zones. Now let us talk about the efforts taken by our government to conserve natural vegetation and wildlife in India. Indian government had started the conservation and protection of national parks, wildlife sanctuaries and biosphere reserves. There are awareness programs been started like social forestry and Van Mahotsav among communities at rural and urban level. Government is encouraging school children to go for bird watching and their visits to nature camp. Stringent laws have been made and trades related to skin, hides, nails and teeth of wild animals has been declared illegal and punishable. Indian government has banned the killing of lions, tigers, deer, great Indian bustard and peacocks. The rare species are breeding under the special care of scientists. Students, let us sum up what we have learnt in this chapter. Natural vegetation and wildlife are amongst the most important natural resources. Forests, grasslands, deserts and tundra are the major biomes found on the land. Equatorial rainforest or evergreen forest, tropical monsoon deciduous forest, temperate deciduous and mixed forest, Mediterranean forest and temperate coniferous forest are the major forest types. Grasslands are of two types, tropical or temperate. Desert vegetation mainly includes xerophytic or drought resistant vegetation. Many species are nearing extinction because of deforestation and indiscriminate hunting. A large number of national parks, wildlife sanctuaries, and biosphere reserves have been set up throughout the country. Besides, measures for the conservation of wildlife and safeguarding the natural world are being taken all over the world.